Hi students, welcome to chemistry class. In the previous class we are discussing about atoms, that is Dalton's atomic theory, and he explained how Dalton explained his postulates regarding atoms. Now let's see that what actually atom is. So how we can measure the mass of or size of an atom. So you see that, okay. So let's see first actually what is atom. Means, as I say that if we keep on dividing anything, you can just dividing, ultimately we will get the smallest particle. Actually they are called it as atom. So atom is the smallest particle of an element which take part in chemical reaction, So it is the smallest particle of an element which takes part in chemical reaction is called as atom. So this is the definition of an atom. Now as atom is very small, then it is not possible to see the structure of an atom, but the size of an atom, okay, as the size is very small, the size of an atom we measure in terms of nanometer. Say here the size of an atom is measured in terms of nanometer. So here 1 nano, that refers to 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. See that this is a very small size. Then if you observe the surface of an element by using STM refers to scanning, tunneling microscope. So this microscope which provide computer based diagram or images of the surface of the atom. So that in that diagram we can see individual atom. So by this way we can measure the size of an atom. So this is about an atom. Then let's see that how to. So if we know the atom, then we have to mention particular name. Say for example, if a baby after the birth of a baby, then we will assign some name. Why? Because we have to call. Whenever we have to call, we cannot a boy, a girl cannot come like that. We cannot say like that. So it should be having some particular name. So like that. So here we have to give a name. We have to represent an atom, and that is what actually called as symbol. Symbol, it represents short form of an element. Is called as symbol. Okay. This is actually called a symbol. Then how to represent a symbol? So earlier many scientists they have tried to represent an atom. Say among them, so Berzelius, Dalton. So these are the scientists. They have showed that to represent an atom, So these are the scientists. They have shown how to represent atom. Among them, the Dalton was the one first who represent an atom by symbolic method. So according to Dalton, he said that atoms can be represented by using some figures. Say for example, if you take hydrogen, say this is the hydrogen. So hydrogen we have to represent like this. Say, okay, then this is oxygen, and this is sulfur, and some more phosphorus, like say this is structure. This is called as phosphorus. Like that, there are different methods are there. The different symbol he has used to remember a particular an atom. But the thing is that it is very difficult to remember the symbol of the element. So that this method was very tedious. Tedious means very difficult to remember the things. That's why this method was discarded. Okay. So, but the thing is that as he was the first scientist, as though this method is discarded, but he is the first one who showed that we had to represent. He has given idea of representing an element in the form of symbol. So in regarding this, we had to give a salute to a Dalton. Then later on, Berzelius came. So Berzelius, he gave an idea of representing an element by using letters, alphabet of the element's name. So either using the first letter, first and second letter of the element. So let's see that. So as the Berzelius, he said that the first letter and second letter of alphabet in that particular element, we had to use it as a symbol. So this was mostly widely accepted as a representation of a symbol. Later on, there is an international organization. It is called as IUPAC. So IUPAC stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So this is an chemistry organization. It suggested that, so it has made set of rules. It according to that we had to give particular name. So let's see what are the different rules are there that we had to follow while writing the name of a symbol. Okay, you see that if the element say for example hydrogen, okay, hydrogen, it is the first element. The first letter of this element is H. So we can represent the first letter as a capital letter. We have to write as capital H. Then after hydrogen, helium will come. Helium. You see that both the elements, they begin with same alphabet. Then in this case, what we have to do? So if only the one element is there, begin with a separate alphabet, means an individual alphabet is there. In that case, we have to take the first letter of the element. Then once that alphabet is already used, then next coming elements, even it begins with the same alphabet, in that cases we have to take the first letter as well as any one of the letter from in the particular element name. Okay, regarding this, so helium is there. So here the first letter as usual it should be capital, and the second letter we are taking in that particular element it should be small. So the name become He. We cannot say he, it's a helium. It's a short form of helium. See, the first letter is capital and second letter it is always small letter. Say one more example, say carbon. So carbon is represented as capital C. Okay. Then calcium. See here also both are begin with the same alphabet, but we are going to take the first two letters. First letter C, second letter small letter A. That is Ca. Ca is a short form of calcium. So here this is the rules that we had to follow while writing the symbol of a element. Apart from this, some of the names of the element they are taken from the Latin word. So we will see that also. So we'll see what are the different symbols of the 1 to 20 elements. So in periodic table there are 118 elements are there, and it is not possible to remember each and every element. So here for 9th and 10th standard it is enough to remember 1 to 20. Okay, so now I am going to write 1 to 20 elements along with the symbol. At the same time, apart from 1 to 20, some other elements symbols, it is very necessary to know them also. So we are going to write the name symbol of that element, and you had to remember throughout the year, and this year and next year. So if you learn thoroughly the 9th standard, it will become very easy in the 10th and PUC also. So give more concentrated regarding to this. Okay, now I am going to write the symbols of some elements. So here 1 to 10, first I will tell that hydrogen H, helium He, lithium Li, beryllium B, boron B, carbon C, nitrogen N, oxygen O, fluorine F, neon Ne. 11th one is sodium. See, I think you are thinking that sodium is there, S is there, but I have written Ne. So this is obtained from Latin word. So later in the next table I will give only the elements which I have obtained from the Latin words. Then you will get clear idea regarding this. Okay. Okay, so these are the 21 to 20 elements, and try to possible to remember these elements in the correct sequence, that is 1 to 20. Okay, these are the elements of 1 to 20 elements. So remember their name with respective symbol. Now let's see other symbols of some elements which are very essential. It's an iron. Okay, Fe, zinc, Zn, copper, Cu, silver, Ag, manganese. So there are many are there, just will give important one only. Iodine, bromine, iodine, bromine, barium, barium. Okay, so these are the some of the important and very necessary element. You had to remember these elements. Okay, apart from those 1 to 20. So try to remember this. Now I am going to give you elements. Those are obtained from Latin words. Now look at here. The element name is sodium and its Latin name is natrium. So the first two letters is Na. So we have given as Na. So like that Latin name we have to use. Then so plumbum, the name of the element is lead. So here we are take the first and any other letter. So the name will be, the symbol of the element is Pb. The first letter capital, second letter is small letter, plumbum. Aurum, it is gold. Symbol is Au. Argentum, it is silver. Ferrum is iron. Symbol is Fe. Then cuprum, it is copper. Symbol is Cu. Then next one, hydrargyrum, it's mercury. Hg. then stannum, it is tin, then kalium, it is potassium, the symbol is K. So these are the symbols of some elements they have obtained from the Latin word. Then, so here what actually these symbols they represent. So if the symbol they let's see that what is the significance. That is what we call significance of symbols. Significance of symbol. If an element, so this element, say for example sodium, this element, the symbol they represent name of element. It represents name of an element. It represents a name of element. A particular symbol of an atom, it represents name of an element. Then it represents mass of an atom. It means one atom of any element represents how it has how many masses. It represented by the symbol. Then it contains mole of an atom. Mole of an atom. So we will learn about the concept of mole in the coming classes. Okay, this is all about the symbols. So now we have learned about only the elements which have two letters and which are obtained from the Latin word. But as you go after 100, even the elements are represented by using three letters. So let's see those examples. Let's say example. Say for example, nilbium, it is represented by UNN, and again the first letter should be capital, then followed by the letters are small letters. And next one, niltrium, it is UNT, again first letter is capital followed by the small letters. So this is how we have to represent the symbol of an element. Now we will continue how to represent atomic mass. See, atomic mass. You see that the size of an atom is very small and we cannot see them. Then how we can measure the mass of an atom? See, while comparing any mass, what actually we do? Say we'll go outside in the market to buy some vegetables. What actually they do? So they have some weighing machines. They put some stones having particular weight and they start putting some vegetables, half kg, 1 kg, okay, 25 gram or 50 gram, 1 kg, like that. There are different measures are there. Okay, so in that cases, so they put the stones of 25 gram, 50 gram or 1 kg or 2 kg whatever or 5 kg, then they start putting some vegetables. If they have equal weight, then they will give it to us. And okay, this is how we actually measure the mass of a particular things, because we can see them, they are large in size, so we can measure them easily. But the thing is that the atom is very small. It is not possible to measure using any some weighing objects, right? So the thing is that, but we had to measure the size of an atom, and it was so this concept of calculating the mass of an atom. So here, as it came earlier, and the scientists in the beginning, they have chosen hydrogen atom as a standard mass. This is it, because we need some standard mass. Say for example, if you want to measure 1 kg of a some particular vegetable, say carrot. Okay, so we'll put 1 kg a particular stone, then they will start adding carrots, right? Now here the 1 kg stone, it is acts as a standard weight. Okay, wherever you go, everywhere that unit, the 1 kg weight, it will be a standard unit. Like that, even while calculating the mass of an atom, we have one particular standard mass. And so while searching the elements, scientists, they come to know that hydrogen is the best element, because it is the lightest element of all the elements. That's why they have chosen hydrogen as a standard mass. So here, if you want to calculate any mass of any element, we have to compare it with mass of hydrogen. By this way, they were calculating atomic mass. Later on, this method was discarded. Why? Because see, the hydrogen, it is available in 3 different forms, that is isotopes. And while thinking that, so which mass we had to take? As it is available in 3 different masses are there. So protium, deuterium, tritium, there are 3 different masses are there. Then which mass of hydrogen we had to take? So there was a little bit confusion, so that they have discarded. So later on, they had chosen oxygen as a standard element. Then they say, why oxygen has chosen? So here they give some reasons. The oxygen element is, it combined with most of the elements and they give mass as a whole number. It was an interesting thing, because if the masses are in fractions or decimal, it would be very difficult to calculate. But as in most of the cases, it is giving whole mass, so they have chosen this. And next one, another thing is that this oxygen combining with many of the elements. So these are the 2 reasons they have given why they have chosen oxygen for calculating atomic mass. Again, this method was also discarded. Finally, they had chosen carbon-12 isotope as a standard mass. Carbon-12 isotope have chosen as a standard atomic mass. So as a standard atomic mass means, while comparing any mass of an atom, we have to compare with mass of carbon-12 isotope. What actually this carbon-12 isotope? Carbon isotope 12 here nothing but it's a carbon element containing 6 protons, 6 electrons, okay, and having mass 12. So this is actually what we call carbon-12 isotope. Now the mass of an atom earlier there should be some unit. You see that the weight of any object will measure in terms of gram kgs. Like that there should be unit in the case of atomic mass. So earlier they have chosen the unit of atomic mass as AMU. So I am going to write here AMU. That means atomic mass unit. Atomic mass unit. Okay. So later this AMU was replaced by one more unit. Instead of that, they had chosen the symbol as U. Means we can use AMU also, but instead of that, we can use one more symbol, that is U. It is recommended by the IUPAC and it is called as unified mass. Okay, so unified mass is the unit of an atomic mass. Then, so this is how we had to calculate the mass of a atom. Now, let's see that how to calculate atomic mass of a particular element. See that, for example, atomic mass of, say, oxygen. So we want to calculate atomic mass of oxygen. So in that case, here we had to calculate mass of oxygen atom, and we are comparing with the mass of carbon 12 isotope. So that is 1/12 of mass of carbon 12 isotope, or you can say carbon 12. So here the mass of oxygen is 16 and 1/12 of carbon, it is 1/12, and we have to compare with 12. It will get cancelled, you will get 16 unified mass. By this way we had to calculate mass of an atom. So in the 9th standard we are not going to discuss about how to measure the mass of an atom. It's just a method how to represent mass of an atom. And here we are comparing the mass of a particular atom with the mass of a standard unit, and this comparison what we call relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass, nothing but here comparison. We are making comparison, means we are taking a one particular standard unit. So we are comparing mass of a one particular atom to the mass of a standard unit. This comparison is what we call relative atomic mass. So then whatever the mass, if we know that if the mass of an atom it is expressed in terms of grams, then it is called as gram atomic mass. So next thing is that gram atomic mass means it is mass of an atom, expressed in mass of an atom expressed in grams. Mass of an atom expressed in grams, then it is called as gram atomic mass. Say for example, say nitrogen. So this is nitrogen, the mass of it is 14 unified mass. If the mass It is 14. Okay, just we have to change the unit. 14 is there. Instead of unified mass, we had to mention grams. Means it is the representation of an atomic mass, but in terms of grams. It is called as gram atomic mass. Similarly, oxygen, it can take 16 unified mass, and in terms of gram, it is called as 16 gram. So this is how we have to represent gram atomic mass. So why we had to convert it into gram atomic mass? Now conversion of gram atomic mass, it will be very essential to know how many number of atoms are there in particular gram while calculating the mole concept. So it is very essential to convert atomic mass into grams. So in the next class we are going to discuss about molecules and how molecules will be formed and ionic compounds. Thank you.